This is the briefest executive summary of a series of lectures I gave at the Athens County Library on Envisioning a Better World, in which I attempted to use my experience and suggest solutions to all the world's problems by way of a more or less science fiction story, having as its central core the idea of a committee of the world's wisest people getting together and reporting on what we should be doing instead of what we are doing. The first report is on ethics. The report of the Executive Committee on Ethics is as follows. We are all one. Our grandchildren are us. What we do now influences ourselves in the future. Our goal is to make the world a better place for ourselves, who will be our grandchildren in the future, and we are on this planet to do that, to make this world a better place. This is the only heaven and the only hell that the human race will ever know, and we should act on that observation. From that, we step on to economics. Economics implies a certain behavior ethics implies a certain behavior in economics, which is fundamentally that the price of everything that we do, has to equal the cost. Now, what is the cost? The cost is, from the second law of thermodynamics, how much it takes to put the world back where it was before we did whatever it was that we did. This means that when we look at it seriously, from this viewpoint of economics, fossil fuels are extremely expensive. Solar energy is inexpensive. Therefore, an ethical world would be using our income from the sun instead of our stored capital from fossil fuels. And also it implies that the first line of any corporate charter should be, it is our purpose to make the world a better place by way of, you fill in the blank, making violins, beer, dance companies, anything else. But the fundamental purpose of human behavior is, as the Ethics Committee said, to make the world a better place. Nothing else is permitted. Education. Education is a necessity, not an option, not a privilege, a necessity. It should be provided to every single person on the planet, as is evidenced from the first principle of ethics, that we are all the same thing. A person who is properly educated should know where to get any information he wants. He should understand that science is the source of knowledge, not the traditional religion. Science is the source of knowledge. That all of knowledge is uncertain to a greater or less degree, and he should keep that in mind. The person who is properly educated should have access to every one of the best educators on the planet, properly recorded, properly available, properly documented, so if anyone wants to learn a subject, they can find not only the detail, but the wisdom of the past by way of the best of all possible implementers, educators of the various subjects. And there should be, as I said, a universality of this. It should be available to every person on the planet. Must be available if the governance of the planet is to proceed properly. With regard to governance, governments should be established to ascertain the public will, to affect the public will, and to protect the public will. A government organization is, of course, required to affect the public desire of the majority of people. If I, for example, want a clean lake, I should have it by way of government action and government protection of the clean lake. As it stands today, as we all know, there are terrible exploitations of the planet from private enterprise, unregulated, improperly guided by government. Government is not a threat. Government is a protection, an implementer of the public will. And in order to get that government, we have to have very well-educated people who know the difference between fact and hypothesis and personal opinion, religion, science, and so forth. Governance is based, of course, on education.